Hello Figment, my name's Chris Wilson, and in this video, we will continue setting up our development environment, picking up where we left off in the previous tutorial, setting up a fresh JavaScript project with .env. Now that we have the .env variables installed, we will learn how to use them in our project. .env is a dot file which developers can use to store environmental variables for use in various code projects. It is beneficial to learn more about the specifics of and the format of an env file, as environmental variables are rather common in software development. The basic syntax for environmental variables within a .env file is simply key equals value. You can check the parser rules below for a more detailed explanation, and those can be found right here. How to use .env. So like I said, we'll be building off of the previous tutorials we were working on. So let's open up our test directory. If you don't have it open, you can always go to Ubuntu and go code and then test or whatever you named your project and then hit enter. And that will open it right here in VS Code. In this test directory, we've already installed our npm install --save.env, so we don't have to do that again. However, if this is your first time going into your directory, that will be the first thing you want to install. That will give you the tools to interact with a .env file. So there's the first step, and we already did that one. If you're not sure if you ran it or not, you can go to your package.json file, and you should see under dependencies .env right there. .gitignore, the .env. Read more about ignoring files in Git on GitHub documentation. Ignore files are used in many different open source repositories. Since we are working with blockchains and cryptocurrencies, it is imperative to point out the security implications of this method. This prevents Git from checking in the env file to a public repository. If you are using a different code versioning system, there will be different requirements. So the purpose of our .env file, especially within the pathways, is for the env file to contain everything that we need to stay safe. So to create an env file after installing our npm install save.env, we can click this icon right here that's going to create a new file in our source directory. In here, we can simply put .env. And now for best practices here, I do not like to populate my env file until I already have in place a gitignore file. So we can go ahead in here and click new file and type .gitignore, and then in here, put env and save it. Now, if we ever check in our code to Git, it will ignore our env file, keeping our private key safe. And we have an env file that we can put API key equals and then put our API key in there. And now anytime we reference API key, it will pull out our API key and use it instead of it actually being in the code. And that will keep us safe. This is an important step to safeguarding any API keys, seed phrases, or other sensitive information placed inside of a .env file from being inadvertently sent to a public code repository on the internet, where they would immediately become vulnerable with a high likelihood of being scraped by bots. And we don't want that to happen when you are developing your dApps. So this is why we made this simple guide so that you could understand and implement safe practices when developing. As always, if you had any trouble following this tutorial or simply want to discuss DataHub or Web3 tech, you can join our Discord in the link down below. I look forward to seeing you there, and until next time, happy coding.